It's considered the deadliest single attack against Al-Shabaab. US airstrikes pounded the group's position in the central Hiran region. More than 150 militants were killed, mostly new recruits, according to reports. Al-Shabaab denies the number of dead, but experts are praising the US operation as a sign of closer cooperation between local and international forces.
There has always been close cooperation between the Somali intelligence and foreign intelligence organizations, mainly Western intelligence. Somali intelligence has provided some credible information in the past that has led to positive results. We don't know the extent of this cooperation, but it's very important that it's there.
According to Washington, the new recruits were planning a large-scale attack. Al-Shabaab has targeted 3 African Union mission bases in less than a year. Scores of peacekeepers have died. The US strikes were carried out on Saturday with both jets and drones. But more needs to be done to strengthen intelligence gathering against Al-Shabaab.
It is the work of the National Intelligence Forces to bring information on Al-Shabaab activities, from towns to villages and in Al-Shabaab-controlled areas too. It needs to infiltrate the militant group and offer intelligence reports that will in turn help to eliminate the threat posed by the terrorist group.
The airstrikes at the weekend are considered a major setback for Al-Shabaab. The government here in Mogadishu has welcomed the gains made, but the militant group remains a deadly threat to Somalia and the wider region. This was once again highlighted when a car bomb killed several senior police officers here on Wednesday. Abdulaziz, Billow, CCTV, Mogadishu, Somalia.
And we're staying in Somalia for now, and reports have emerged of foreign commandos raiding an Al-Shabaab base. According to the militant group, masked men in a helicopter carried out the raid. According to the group, the militants managed to fight them off. The reports are being corroborated by civilians from the town of Augdele. Some say they were woken up by the sound of heavy gunfire. Witnesses also saw the helicopter. It's not clear who these foreign commandos are. Let's get more clarity now on that development, and CCTV's Abdulaziz Billow is in the capital, Mogadishu. Abdulaziz, is there any clarity at all on just who these foreign commandos are? What's the latest coming out of that raid?
Well, Beatrice, Somali authorities here haven't formally issued a comment on that raid that took place last night here in the town of Odigle, that is located some 50 kilometers south of the Somali capital, Mogadishu. But according to information that we have received from locals on the ground, they tell us that almost 11 militants were killed in that attack. But Radio Mogadishu, the official state broadcaster, is saying that almost 20 militants were killed in that night attack. Now, what we've been able to gather is that the district commissioner of Odigle actually says that the foreign commandos used both aerial and ground invasion, and they attacked 3 Al-Shabaab areas within that town of Odigle. Now, Odigle is a very rich agricultural area in the lower Shabelle region. Now, we don't know exactly the nationality of these foreign commandos and what their target was, but it is believed that maybe there might have been a special target, a person of high value that the foreign commandos were targeting there. This information is still awaiting verification from the Somali government. But one thing to note, Beatrice, is that it's not the first time that foreign commandos have actually carried out raids in Somalia. We've witnessed one raid in the town of Barawe by the U.S. Special Forces, and also most recently in the town of Bolamarer by the French commandos. They were trying to save one of the hostages of French nationality who was being held there by the Al-Shabaab, but he was eventually killed in that crossfire. So for now, we are awaiting the official government comment and to know the nationality of the foreign commandos.
Well, Abdulaziz, we're also receiving some reports that earlier there was an attack on police officers in Mogadishu. What do we know about that? What can you tell us?
Well, Beatrice, the attack took place at a place called Haragadit. Now, this is the military, the police academy, rather, on the way to next to the National Intelligence Headquarters. So that's where a suicide bomber detonated a vehicle right outside a cafeteria opposite the police academy. Now, according to the Mogadishu police boss, he said that 3 senior police officers died in that attack, including 1 civilian. But also what they're able to say is that 1 person, the driver actually who brought the vehicle there, was arrested with injuries. So he's being treated, but authorities have him. So what the militant group Al-Shabaab was actually saying on its Twitter page and its website, that since the authorities here in Mogadishu held a series of meetings in terms of security and said that they were boosting the security, they did this attack as a message to the federal government that despite all the measures that they put in place, despite the number of forces that they put on the streets of Mogadishu, that the militant group is powerful and can strike at will in the heart of the capital. So this was a message indeed from the Al-Shabaab to the Somali government that the group poses a serious threat to the federal government here in Somalia.
Well, Abdulaziz, as well, there are many fronts that are trying to tackle that Al-Shabaab insurgency in Mogadishu and around the region. And what's the latest, though, on the AMISOM mission's efforts to tackle Al-Shabaab? Have these U.S. strikes made any immediate difference? And what is AMISOM's mission?
Well, Beatrice, the AMISOM forces here in Somalia haven't launched any major offensive in the past months. They've been actually on the back foot for the past months after they've been attacked 3 times in 3 of their bases, including the most deadliest in El Ade. So basically, AMISOM is saying that at this stage, one of the issues rather that was raised at the AMISOM meetings in Djibouti and also in Addis Ababa is the fact that AMISOM has no aerial capabilities and they cannot be able to attack the militants by aerial power. So basically, experts here in Mogadishu are saying that these attacks by the US drones and also aerial attacks by Kenya and Ethiopian Air Force are very, very useful in terms of fighting the Al-Shabaab. They're saying that once these forces hit the potential Al-Shabaab camps and hit Al-Shabaab areas like we witnessed in Raso the other day, that AMISOM will be able actually to spread around and capture more territory at this stage. So the issue of aerial capability is very necessary, and it's the one reason experts here are saying that might be able to assist AMISOM forces in their push to liberate the vast south-central regions from the Al-Shabaab, because the militant group poses not just a threat to Somalia, but to the entire East African region at this stage.
Abdulaziz Billow for us there in Somalia's capital.